final event of 2023, and what an event, what a year. You know, I totally didn't think it was going to end on a high note like this. I was not going into the event thinking this, and you know, sometimes opportunities just come up and you take them and you just do what you can do with them, and it all turns out good. So let's try to unpack this one and let's dig into it. Heading into this event, I really didn't have high expectations for myself at all because, you know, my tires were shot. You know, I'm just looking to finish out the season, you know, and, you know, a lot of people I feel are kind of feeling the same way because I could see that people were driving different cars. People were just kind of goofing around. And even some people, you know, we don't normally see at North Park, were actually showing up probably just to goof around a little bit and have some fun here at the end of the year. A lot of people were driving, you know, different cars and just kind of goofing around for the day, and Alex actually offered for me to drive his GR86, the second gen twin, and I batted it around for a little bit, but ultimately I was kind of like, you know, I don't really want to do this because, you know, I don't want to get my, the second gen car is better. It just straight up is better. It's better in DS, and I didn't want to feel that. I didn't want to feel that during an event and be like, wow, my car is so underpowered, it doesn't have enough tire, you know, and I you know, then go back to my car and not like it, you know? So that was the main reason why I didn't, you know, take that offer, and then I went back to him. I was like, hey, you know, it's still on the table, and then he was like, I'll let you drive one, you know, eventually here. So right here, this is my fourth run, and this is the best that I did in my car throughout the day. You know, coming out here, you know, I did a good launch, and then I'm pushing out to this wall here where the green cones were at, coming all the way down here, braking hard, getting turned in here, pushing out a little bit to the edge here, and just keeping on throttle, keeping the steady state throttle more or less, making sure I push out to that wall, but getting in there, coming down here and making sure I'm close to the left-hand cones here, getting through this slalom, and then, you know, just powering through the finish. So honestly, nothing really exciting there. You know, it was a pretty straightforward course. It was a good course, don't get me wrong, and that was my best for the day, right? And then a little bit later, you know, halfway through the day, when I think after we were done working, I actually worked with Alex in the trailer. I was running the computer, he was the writer, and, you know, we didn't talk about it then, but then afterwards, you know, when we were about to start our, you know, fifth and sixth run, he was like, hey, do you want to jump in my car? And I was thinking, you know, oh, I'll jump in with him, you know, I'll get some pointers and I'll go back and, you know, take my runs. And he's like, no, grab your magnets, you can drive it. I'm like, okay, cool. And, you know, split second decision, I was just like, okay, cool, like, let's do this. So I grabbed my magnets, ran over there, you know, got ready in the car, adjusted everything, and, you know, I kind of set out on, you know, actually driving a competitive car for once. And let me tell you, the second gen car is that much quicker. This has 20 millimeter more tire, has 245s versus my 225s, and I just set out there and did exactly what I was doing in my car. You know, coming down here, braking hard, braking late, going through these sweepers. The car can just hold that much more throughout all of these sweepers, but I'm doing everything right here. Like, I don't really see anything really inherently wrong. I'm staying close to these, I'm turning in, using all the power that I can, you know, all the tire that's on the car, and, you know, I just came across, and I actually didn't even know how I did because the timer wasn't working. So, you know, the start with Alex's car was a little bit more violent, you know, there's more power there, but throughout this first section, pretty much all the way down to the left-hand turn here, I'm right where I was with my car. It's after that, it's through all these sweepers. His car just had so much more grip, I guess, from the tires, maybe having newer tires, more power, whatever it is. But you can see I just start getting so much ahead of my own run in my own car in Alex's car right there. And, you know, I went back and I actually saw what the time was, and it was a 24.6, which is an 0.8 improvement, almost a full second, but 0.8 improvement over my time in my car. And honestly, I was kind of shocked about it. I was like, oh my god, that's crazy, you know. And I actually was like, okay, well, you know, where's that put me in DS? Okay, well, you know, I'm behind Alex, you know, I'm second in DS, I think, out of like 18 people. And then I look at the PAX rankings and I'm third. So Jake Glover's ahead of me, and then Alex is ahead of Jake, and then there's me somehow in there. And I was honestly completely stunned. I was not expecting that whatsoever. So I actually had to put both of the videos of both my runs in Alex's car and mine up against each other here. And you can actually see by the time we get halfway through the course, I'm dead even with my car. And then my car actually pushed out a little bit here, and I'm able to keep tighter to that cone with Alex's car. And that gives me an advantage. You can actually see that from here on out, I start getting further and further ahead with Alex's car. Each cone that I'm kind of stopping at here, you can, like right here with this green cone, you can just see I'm so much more ahead with Alex's car because it has so much more grip. At least I felt. I don't even think the power was really kind of a thing. I think it was mainly, you know, the grip of the tires, being able to, you know, keep through these sweepers super hard and super fast. And, you know, by the end here, I'm just getting so far ahead. I mean, look, that's like 3 or 4 car lengths. Like literally, it's like 3 car lengths. And here's me, I'm at the finish in Alex's car, and I'm not even to that final slalom cone right there. So I think what we figured out here is I just need to go buy a Gen 2 car and be done with it. Well, actually, no, that's not what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be keeping my car, obviously. I don't plan on selling the car anytime soon, but it does appear that, you know, maybe my driver skill is actually up there. You know, it's getting up there at least, and maybe the car is actually holding me back a little bit here. You know, the first gen in DS is not really competitive. Having 225 tires is not super competitive either. And also having yokes, I suppose, on a low camber car is not that competitive. So I'm making a lot of mechanical choices here that are holding me back, and that's exactly what I'm experiencing in the car, and that's what's going through my brain, is that I'm trying to compete, and I feel like I always have this barrier that I can't get through because everybody else has, you know, more tire and better cars, and like it's all mechanically there for them, and I'm trying to compete with that, and like I'm doing everything I can as a driver, but I can't get it. So yeah, just a totally crazy day. This is my best finish by far at any autocross event that I've done in well over a decade now. So man, it's a lot, and just to be up there is just, you know, I always wish that I would be up there somewhere like that, and then seeing it actually on paper right now, I'm like, wow, this is it actually happened at least once at a North Park event. You know, I know it's not a SCCA event, I know it's not, you know, national event or anything, but it happened. I did it. So I think I'm gonna have to really think about this off season and think about, you know, what I want to do to the car, and I think there's gonna have to be some changes that are made to get it to be more competitive. And I kind of have an idea of what that is. I think I've talked to a few people about what that is, and I'm just hoping that you know, I can go through with it and do some things to get that car on the level that I think my driver skill might actually be at, now that I've kind of seen what I can do in a competitive car actually with even one run here. What a way to end the season, and thank you, Alex, for letting me drive your car. It was a total blast, and I'll see everybody next year.